Alright, welcome back to Lua for Beginners. So, this is episode 2. We're going to be going into variables and types. So, variables are a very important part of any programming language. They're containers that hold onto data for us. So, this is useful not only because we can use that data, but we can also change it. So, the way we're going to put some variables into Lua is we got to give it a name and a value. So a name can be pretty much anything that doesn't have spaces, special characters, and it doesn't start with a number, but it can have a number in it. So very easy one, let's just start off with something like apple. And then we're going to need to give it a value. So we've already given it a name. Now we're just going to give it an equals sign to say we're giving it a value, and then we'll give it a value. So let's give it the number 5. So now we have a variable called apple with the number 5. Let's do another one. So let's do banana, just in the alphabetic sort of scheme here. And let's give it a different value. Well, slightly different. So we're going to give it 5 also, but we're going to surround it in quotation marks. And I'll get into that in just a second. So the way we're going to actually display our variables is we're going to use the print function, and we'll get into functions later on. So print in all lowercase will display stuff for you, and you will need an open and close parentheses. So between these parentheses, we can put stuff like last time we put hello world and it displayed it right here, but we can also put the names of variables. So if I put apple here, that should, after I save, put out the number 5 down here. So let's run Lua hello.lua again. You can actually just use the up arrow to get the command, press enter, and we do see 5. Alright, now let's print out banana. Alright, so this is the different one. It has some quotation marks around it, and we should see 5 because we're printing out apple, and then 5 again because we're printing out banana. So let's take a look. Alright, so you can see we have a 5 and we have a 5 here too, but down here it doesn't have any quotation marks. And that's because this is a different type of data from this one. So banana is a string type of data, which is a fancy word for text. And apple is just a number type of data. There's actually a couple of types of data in Lua, but the main ones, it really just boils down to number and text, which is referred to as string in programming. So the difference between these two is pretty much the difference between writing the number 5 on a piece of paper and having 5 pieces of paper. So this is text, it's written, and this is an actual number. It's a quantity. And the way we can check the type of data in Lua is another function just like print called type. Just like that. And we need to open and close parentheses. And we'll just give it apple. Just like that. And if you run this code after you save, you'll see that nothing comes out. That's because we have to use print with type. So we're actually going to print just like this, and the parentheses should surround around type. Just like that. So you'll have at the very end of the line 2 closing parentheses on top of each other, just like that. So we're going to print the type of apple. Make sure you save. And there you go. So it says it's a number. You can see that that's the one without the quotation marks, so that's correct. And if we give it banana, it says string. Alright, and one last little thing that I'd like to cover here is what happens if we type the function type. So we're going to add right after print, right inside the parentheses, we're going to add type and then another parentheses. And then at the very end of the line, we're going to add another closing one, so you have 3 just like this, all stacked up. So we're going to save and run that, and you'll see that type gives you a string. So when you look for the type of a variable, it gives you a description of what that is as text, as a string. Alright, so that should be pretty much it for variables and types in Lua. It's very simple, really just boils down to numbers and text. Next time we're going to go over functions, why you have these parentheses and this sort of weird syntax to this. And that should be pretty much it.